Welcome everyone to Your Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time.
None of that affects how you are going to change the world.
That's right.
No, it does not take one person to change the world, but it takes one person to believe in themselves.
Yes.
That they can make a difference.
I love
to
that.
Inspire others.
And that's why, for me, I try to make it my purpose now to try to help other people realize their self-worth.
Yeah.
Because it's so sad that so many of us, we get destroyed based off of what other people have to say.
Yeah.
I would say do it in your own way. Make sure you're doing it on your own accord and take a risk.
Go out there and live your life passionately. Believe in everything that you're doing and believe in the fact that you will accomplish every single goal. Welcome everyone to Your Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time. We want to encourage you to embrace our shared humanity by opening up your heart and your mind to the experiences and perspectives of others. Be compassionate, be loving, be kind, respect one another. After all, we all aspire for the same things, to have a happy family, to have a peaceful environment, for us to be whole and happy. Let's not just relegate ourselves to the left or the right. Let's wedge ourselves in the middle and find a way to bring others together, for us to share in our common desires and our needs, and also to make sure that we all realize that we are valued, we are important, and that we are loved. I am your host, LeShawn Walker. I'd like to welcome you in. Please like, share, and follow. Let everyone know that we're on right now. So, my friends, it is September. I just can't believe it, actually. And, we always hear and actually see, on television, especially my little Jimmy Kimmel at night, when he's like going to all the news shows and they're saying, oh my God, I can't believe it's August. I can't believe it's September. Well, I cannot believe that the summer is basically over, my friends. We are back to reality. Kids are back in school. Our workloads have increased once again. It's about to get darker outside. We got to find some peace within the madness that's going on right now. So I hope that you guys are out there just holding it together the best way that you possibly can. The traffic is getting a little bit heavier outside, and just people are in a frenzy, knowing that September is here and it is time for us to get back to work, get to business as usual. So I hope that you had a great weekend, enjoying Labor Day, fulfilling, all of the summer desires that you had from the very beginning that you weren't able to fulfill in June and July. I hope also that you were able to visit with family and friends, and for you to just enjoy the end of the summer season. This past weekend, actually last week, I decided to take a trip to Six Flags Great Adventures. I haven't been to an amusement park in a very long time, so I want to share with you my past week with Unity in the Community. Well, as I mentioned, I went to Six Flags Great Adventures. I haven't been to an amusement park in forever. Actually, since my best friend passed away, we used to go all the time with my daughter and her daughter, and we used to ride the roller coasters. Loved feeling the wind in my hair and just being on those rides, twisting and turning, and just loving every dip and turn. It was amazing that I revisited my childhood feelings this past Monday. It was awesome. The fact that I got to spend it with my daughter and also my best friend here in New York, Tracy August. We went to celebrate her daughter's birthday. So I was there, and honestly, it was amazing to me how many people actually were there for the same reason, to just have some fun, for them to come together with their family, enjoy the last of the summer. I saw so many diverse cultures and nationalities out there. It was amazing. I was even shocked to see a lot of Amish people out there. I mean, I know they're not too far away, but the fact that they were there and they were getting drenched on the water rides, they were on the roller coasters, in their long dresses, in their traditional attire. It was just amazing to see. So I enjoyed that moment and knowing that everyone actually at that one time wanted to come together for the exact same thing. And that was to have fun. So I did the roller coaster. I was a little afraid because, like I said, I haven't been on it in quite a few years. But I took the opportunity and I abated fear. And I got on the highest one there, actually, from what I understand, is Kum Ka or something like that. And I rode it with my daughter, and it was amazing. And then I had the opportunity this past weekend to travel to Maryland. Unfortunately, my best friend, Charlene, lost her sister, and I'll be sharing that with you a little later in the next coming weeks or so. Rosalind, who's been on the show before, cancer survivor, and now unfortunately she passed away. So I went, myself and my other girlfriends, to rally around her, to support her, to care for her heart right now because she's going through some things. So we went to the Old Westminster Winery. It was amazing, I will say. The ambiance was spectacular. It was such a picturesque day. And we just communed with one another. We talked, we shared, we laughed. We had an amazing time. We had some cocktails. I mean, even though it's a winery, I had an espresso martini. So we just took the opportunity. You can show the photos. We just took the opportunity to just take in all of the beauty of that day. It was truly a great adventure even there. And then at the end of the evening, we decided to all come together for a photo. But if you see those beautiful huts, everyone had their own space. You could play your music in there. The dinner was amazing. It just was a great time to be had. And I'm so glad that I was able to go down and support my friend at this time. So I hope that you guys did the same. I hope that you brightened up someone's day this past week. I hope that you was a blessing in someone's life this past week. I hope that you also realize the beauty that you have within yourself this past week and that you radiated that same beauty and light onto others. So the week before, I was telling you about this amazing time I had with so young Lee-Segredo. She invited me to this event that I failed to mention on the last show that she actually helped put together. She curated this amazing event for the Indian Independence and Korean Liberation Day. There she is singing her beautiful songs as she always does. And it was just all about us coming together and realizing that we share in our humanity, that we need to celebrate that and embrace that. She invited so many people, and there were so many from diverse cultures and nationalities there that were able to come together and just enjoy the meaning of that day. So she's back again, my friends, for a part 3 to our cultural journey. And I'm so excited to have her here again, also with her friend and member of her organization, the Multicultural Council of New York. So I want to introduce you guys to So Young Lee, but first, the title of the show is Embracing Our Shared Humanity. And we're going to be speaking to So Young Lee-Segredo. A passionate advocate for cultural diversity, has made a significant impact in the community through her work in arts, culture, and education. In 2012, she co-founded the Multicultural Council of New York with 3 educators to amplify their efforts in serving diverse communities. Since then, So Young has collaborated with various organizations, including the Queens Public Library System, where she has been a familiar face for over 20 years. Offering Korean cooking classes and hosting online shows during COVID. Her musical concerts are notable for featuring artists from diverse ethnic backgrounds, reflecting her commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. In addition to her work with the Multicultural Council, So Young established the Asian Pacific Council of Education, LI, in 2020. Inspired by her participation in a conference at Hofstra University and the encouragement of LILTA leader, Daphne Arizier. As president of the organization, So Young continues to collaborate with groups such as the Shanti Fund, Hofstra University, and the Korean American Association of Greater New York. She is also actively involved in the Suffolk County Asian American Advisory Board and serves as a Korean representative on the Town of Hempstead Community Committee, tirelessly advocating for increased minority representation and understanding in education and beyond. I would just like him to continue to show her amazing photos and let you know that she is a ray of sunshine, not only in my life, but others that she touches every single day. So I'm going to now introduce you to Sophia Panagos. She is an accomplished educator currently teaching FLES Greek at the Hempstead Public School District. She holds multiple New York State professional teaching and administration certifications, underscoring her dedication to academic excellence. Sophia has a deep passion for helping her students achieve their academic goals and fostering a love for lifelong learning. Proud of her Greek heritage, Sophia shares her love for the Greek language and culture with all her students, enriching their educational experience. In the fall of 2020, she crossed paths with Miss So Young Lee at a Jackson IB PYP World School, where Sophia was mentored by Miss Lee-Segredo. Their connection was immediate, and it profoundly influenced Sophia's approach to education, making her a stronger and more culturally aware educator. Inspired by Miss Lee-Segredo, Sophia joined the Multicultural Council of New York. Together, they collaborated on various projects throughout the school year to promote cultural diversity and awareness. Through her involvement in the council, attending meetings, events, and fundraisers, Sophia witnessed firsthand the significant impact of Miss Lee-Segredo's work in promoting multiculturalism across New York State. So please help me welcome the amazing, beautiful, and talented Miss So Young Lee-Segredo and the beautiful Sophia Panagos?
Panagos.
Panagos. Okay.
Panagos.
Panagos. I'm gonna get that.
Panagos.
It's Greek. I'm learning. So wonderful to have you here, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. Thank you for being here. You again, my friend. You know that we have yet to really scratch the surface of all we could share about you, but today is about your organization. Today is about the great work that you both do and why it is so important, especially now at this time. So again, thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
So, how have you been since the last time I spoke to you or saw you actually at the India and Korea Independence and Liberation Day? How has everything been going?
Well, my energy has shifted, so I already went to work and organizing my room and speak with administrators, planning for the certain events for future. Sharing my ideas, what we needed to do, and go to see my mom.
So it's been busy for you as well.
Caregiver. But also, I wanted to say that I think it is great that I asked some members around, and Sophia decided to gracefully join us today.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Well, I mean, you know, I shared everything I've been doing for the past couple of weeks. What did you do for the end of the summer?
Honestly, just kind of relaxing. I went to Greece over the summer to see family and friends, and the last couple of weeks just getting, back to routine, back to schedules, and slowly kind of going back to school and getting everything ready again. And as you highlighted earlier, just kind of going as the end of summer is approaching, just soaking it all in those last couple of days. So it's been truly remarkable to enjoy and to relax and refresh.
I love it. I love it. So I'm so glad again that you ladies are here to speak about your Multicultural Council of New York. Please, I mean, the last time we left off, I mean, you're involved in so many different organizations, so many diverse organizations that speak to many different people in different communities, and I understand that that's obviously your passion and your love is to bring people together. So how did the Multicultural Council of New York actually come about?
Well, I was already been performing in New York for numerous years. And when I wanted to collaborate with the other organizations, one of my friends says, "So Young, everybody knows your stage name is So Young, and then you're doing it. But how about you want to expand that horizon and make it into the nonprofit organization?" So 2012, I spoke with a few of the educators, and they were very excited. So we established, and since then, we've been continuously filling this, like almost like filling this box, like blessings. And our logo is upside down umbrella, and I designed that, and saying that oftentimes we human beings have a tendency always look at rainy days as a negative day. Oh, I'm gonna get wet, I cannot put this on, and then shoes. But if we literally look at the element of water, that's one of the most important elements we have in our life. So I'm saying, let's not complain, but collect buckets of rain together. So I turned the umbrella upside down, and then Diane McCabe, who's retired art teacher from Hempstead, since the beginning she was the member, and she just scratched and then just made the umbrella, and then I said that to her, upside down. And she thought that was very interesting.
That is.
And then since then, we've been trying to collaborate with many other organizations, and we are trying to advocate. And also, my father was one of my mentors and advisors, and it's good to say that last few years we include humanity scholarship, where the young future generation can think about and focus on what is humanity, and they can express in writing, or this year we included even fine arts. So we are connecting dots like you do. You have to be out there in order to connect the dots. And we don't have a time to be depressed or complain. I mean, I do complain to my husband. I
complain sometimes too, but when I'm outside, we're a ray of sunshine.
Yes.
A ray of light. Yes, you are absolutely right.
Yeah, and also having someone like Sophia interested in our organization. Just so I wanted to see if Sophia can talk a little bit about.
Well, you're an educator. So how did that come about? Did you always want to be a teacher? How did you get into that career?
So from a young age, right through high school and middle school, I definitely struggled in school. And because being a first generation here in New York, my parents immigrated to New York at a later age in life for a better life. And so for me, I really took it very seriously, my education, and I really acknowledged everything that my parents did over the years. And just to see the struggle of learning the English language as a student and really teaching it myself, were a time where there was no such thing as ESL services, and teachers were just kind of in the very beginning phases of how to teach English as a second language. It was just very eye-opening for me, and I said, to have students who are really struggling in our classrooms, where that's something that we really need to be the voice for our students. And that was something that really pulled me in. And I have a plethora of certifications, and it stemmed from special education and general education. But from there, I dove into other areas where we have gifted and talented and literacy, and really diving into later with my bilingual extension, and then going to the foreign language in the elementary school, which I found very fascinating to even have those opportunities. And now that I'm in the classroom, I see students that are from all over the world, and you just see them who are just, they're really embracing their cultures and saying, I'm bilingual. And,
Yes.
and just to already have a knowledge and an understanding of one language already before even learning another one is just truly fascinating.
No, it is. That is it.
Yes.
And embracing that. You
Yes,
know?
absolutely.
Because a lot of kids, when they come here, they're just so focused on learning our language, the American, the English language.
Yes,
And not that
yes.
they're forgetting, you know, their roots and where they come from, but
course.
they're more focused on speaking in the American dialect, which I think it's so important that they say, I am bilingual. Their parents are still talking to them in their native language when they're home. And also getting the opportunity to learn more about it in school, I think is so important as well. So that is so great. So again, you, like I, caught the So Young Lee bug. And so once this woman graced your school, or you met her in school, correct?
Yes.
What connected you, and how did you become part of the
Absolutely.
Multicultural Council?
So when I first met Miss So Young, Lee-Segredo, the first thing that just immediately was her knowledge about education, her knowledge about life, her experiences that she shared with me. And I was just so fascinated by how much she's already accomplished in her life in such really in a small amount of time, believe it or not, even though, you know, age is but a number, I always
Yes, it
say,
is.
you know, and we always can accomplish so much more on a daily basis. And just to see someone who has just made an immediate impact, who has created her own organization and has touched the lives of so many educators, even to this day. I've seen just in that small amount of time how people come up to her and they really want to learn, and they're craving that. Not only just the students, but even the adults. I see the adults, and they're just like blown away by where she's gone and how much she's accomplished and her knowledge and what even more she has in store for us. And you know, it's just eye-opening just to see that there is something like that, an organization that she's built, and even just she's a walking breath of fresh air. Just you know, just by speaking to her, you can already gain so much, and that's what really inspired me immediately. And I felt the immediate connection when I first met her.
I love that. I love that. So again, because you're right, she's literally to me like a breath of fresh air. You know, considering you know everything that one is contending with on a daily basis, and
Absolutely.
you know we have our jobs, we have our lives, we see the people on the outside, we observe what's going on in the world, but she makes it okay. You know, and I love the fact that she cares about others, because then that makes you want to care for them as well. You know, so I want to understand now that you've been taken away by everything that she is. Multicultural Council, did she invite you in? Did you say, hey, I want to be a part of this, please tell me what I need to do? How did that desire and that passion come up
So
for you?
we just had a brief conversation, and from there I immediately did my research. I dove in. She has an amazing website that's very detailed, very thorough. I was able to read the background, the overview, see all of the wonderful trips and events and activities and all the people she's interacted with over the years. And immediately I got pulled in. I saw something that this is not only just for now, but this is for a lifetime. You know, and just to see that, you know, we need to have someone and some, you know, an individual who's pushing, who's encouraging not only just one culture, but every culture, and a community where, you know, we are all diverse, and we all want to learn from each other. We want to really be able to know, but sometimes we just don't know how. And you know, Miss So Young Lee-Segredo is really truly modeling that for all of us, and we're able. She's pulling us all in a way where we know it's there, and then from there we can also branch into other activities and other opportunities that are there for us, and so that's where immediately I signed up, and you know, I've been very active, and truly not only is she just someone who has just created this organization, but also as a friend. She gives a lending ear, and she's someone who's going to be for a long time, and God willing, we have this opportunity for everyone. Well,
I tell you, in the short amount of time that I've known her, she's also educated me, informed me, has opened me up to a bigger world than what I was able to even navigate myself, to open up myself. And I appreciated it, because although I know that I have that in my heart, it's actually to have the person that can lead you into those spaces. And that's what she's doing. And I so appreciate her for that. And I know that the Multicultural Council is all about that. So tell me, So Young, how has your work with the organization evolved over the years? I mean, I know what your plan was in the beginning. How has it evolved, and what has changed?
Basically, at the beginning, we were focusing on cultural and musical aspects of community. So we were connecting with the artist, with other artists, and so whenever I am performing in the Queens Public Library New Americans program, I am inviting something called So-Young and Friends, friends who are from different diversity, ethnically, and as well as the musically. So I have a different guitarist. I have 3 different guitarists.
Wow.
And some of them are Korean, some of them are Japanese, and percussionist as well. I have a percussionist who's Arabic, and then Korean, and then African American, and keyboard artist is Russian, Jewish, or Korean. And so at the beginning, we were trying to connect with the music because I've been performing in Queens Public Library over 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And then I also helped connect Korean community with the Queens Public Library each time the New Americans program director and an assistant directors change. They come to Queens and they are not very familiar with many different diversity communities.
Right.
And I've been helping them with that.
I love it.
And so then it sort of started to change because I wanted to focusing on areas that perhaps we can able to find a solution. So I always say, I think there is not enough effort to highlight women among ourselves. Okay? We are women, I am woman, and we are women.
Yes.
And we still have to think about and talk about equal pay in United States. CEO who's woman and CEO who's man. I am sure they don't open up the book, but that's different.
Yeah.
We have girls who are not encouraged to go into mathematics and science or technology and physical education. I think that is so important. We need to encourage them to do so. Then we have certain violence that's happening in the home, right? And then depressions, and then women are maybe culturally not allowed to discuss with others, or you feel shame, and then you're not acknowledging yourself, self-conscious about, and you think it is your fault, and things like that. I was never been a good girl to my father and my mother because I always walked my own, path, and I always played my own drum.
Right.
And as I think I mentioned it to you, when I was 5, I started to perform. I was performing installation art already at age 2, and I got beaten up.
Wow.
Then 5, I was also doing that. And then later on, when I was 10, I was already performing, created my own skit in middle of Korea, Seoul, middle of Seoul. And then my father found me, and then I got into trouble, so I had to stop for a while. But I really never really stopped because I think that was given to me. I have my own thought, and I have my own ideas, and I'm trying to constantly tell that to teachers and the students whenever I can.
I love it.
If you have brain and we do not use it, it's going to become dull.
Yes, and go to waste. So you are a champion for many women's issues right now that we're facing. I honestly believe that, you know, especially in the century that we're in, and as many powerful women as there are in this world, that we would have been past that already, that we are receiving equal pay, that we are, you know, speaking up for ourselves and actually have a voice in certain spaces. But I know that it is still something that we have to continue to work on, to champion, and to uplift other women to realize that they do have a voice. So I love that you do that, and I'm glad that it's evolving into that as well, because I know you are also, you know, focused on the youth as well, them realizing the importance of them owning who they are and where they're from, and sharing that with the world, and not feeling, you know, bad about the way they speak or where, you know, what nationality or what beliefs they have. So I love that. I want to ask you, Sophia, can you describe a moment when you witnessed the power of cultural understanding and empathy in your classroom?
So in the classroom when I go every single day, you know, one of the biggest moments for me is when we have students who only speak the Spanish language, and they come in and they're saying to me, "Oh, I'm going to learn Greek now," you know, and then they're like, "Whoa, you know, I don't even know English that well, but now they're learning Greek." So when I go in, I always think about, you know, myself in their shoes, and you know, and I put myself in that position where I want to know how and what it is that they're craving and what it is that they want. They really do want to learn. They're coming in with this urge, this necessity that they're willing and they want to learn. And when going into the classroom, I always keep in mind, I'm also that global learner where I'm coming in with all these resources and tools that I'm presenting to them.
Right.
So when I'm teaching a new word, a new set of words, and we're focusing on a specific topic, recently we did like the supermarket, and they love menus, and they were creating their own menus, and we really kind of broke it down, and just seeing their faces light up when there's, you know, they think about, oh, comida, food, and fajito, and we're learning it in different ways, and just to see that, you know, we're bringing in the community in by bringing the supermarket, by having them look at a grocery list and having them really utilize that, and to see that, it's just eye-opening, because we're not just touching upon language, but we're also building on so many different skills. And just to see how, and they're communicating with one another, and they're able to put that into practice. They're talking with each other, having those conversations, and really kind of having myself pull away from it, but just see all that magic in one classroom happen, just by really modeling it for them and having them, giving those opportunities that it's not just a one-way approach, but really seeing it in all multiple aspects, and pulling away afterwards and having them present within such a short amount of time. We only have about 20-25 minutes in a classroom. But just to see people combine, they're like, Miss Panagos, what's going on in your classroom? And just to see, you know, and that's really an impact of so much of being able to talk to Lee-Segredo, having those organizations, those meaningful moments that are available to us. Because without those opportunities, it's not just Miss Panagos going into a classroom. We're getting a whole picture coming in. And coming into a classroom, we're not just having a lesson plan in front of us. We are the walking lesson plan, but at the same token, you know, our experiences, what we're building, because college is just one piece of it. You know, and I hear more and more students that are graduating from college saying, "Oh, I graduated from college, but I don't really know everything. I'm not prepared enough for any field, whether it's nursing, whether it's
or even
teaching,
life, for that matter."
And you know, coming into a classroom now, you know, where we're expected, these wonderful scholars are looking at us, and they want to know, they're craving, and we got to give it to them. And by us having a better understanding about life and experiences, we're able to produce these amazing scholars at the end, and really having them graduate and fulfill, and you know, going into a life where they're able to be able to master so much and build on those skills.
And you know what I love about what you said too? I mean, opening them up to not only the different language, but building the menu and having them shop and learn different language in how we live our everyday life, makes them realize that we all want the same, that we're all understanding the same, that we all need the same. Doesn't that kind of open them up to more tolerance, to more celebrating of each other's cultures? Do you find that as well?
Absolutely. And they, even in the hallway, I see them that, growing up as a kid, I wish that we had those opportunities, because now we're international baccalaureate, and just going into, you see it from the classrooms, just walking by the conversations they each have with each other, they have this awareness. And I get so nervous sometimes because I'm like, we're building that here, but is it going to be everywhere?
Yes.
So when they go to the middle school or the high school or college or beyond, is that going to be available to them?
Right.
Is it just for now, or is it forever?
Well, that's where Multicultural Council of New York comes into play. We are saying we're embracing our shared humanity. How does the Multicultural Council do that? And how do you plan, if you're not already doing it, to sort of instill that in our children, in the youth?
Well, I am always embracing International Baccalaureate Primary Years Program learner profile attribute. And so when Ms. Panagos came from other school, she transferred to our school.
Oh, wow.
That's how come we didn't meet earlier. I think we met 2021 when she came. And that's when I come in to mentor and then talk to students and then support her, because then we are saying to the children, you need to be open-minded. That's one of the learner's profile attribute. And you have to be a risk taker. And you have to be a communicator and be an inquirer in everything you learn, because we are our own teacher. Before you look at someone else, you are your own student and you are an own teacher. So when we bring that aspects of it, already I'm thinking in my head, all right, you are trying to live with multiculturalism. And then happen to be, I'm in the position where I can go into classrooms and then I'll mentor someone like Ms. Panagos. Okay, Ms. Panagos, I see that you are trying to create the menu, okay? And then she's also now very much purposely aware importance of bringing the vocabulary in English, Spanish. So she's now learning Spanish, I'm sure more, and introduce Greek. So students feel empowered. Multiculturalism impact our lives. That's what I want to say. But another issue that I have it and then I'm working on, along with my another organization founded in 2021, because Lawrence Levy, who is the Hofstra University National Center for Suburban Studies Executive Dean, did research on Long Island 2019, and when he presented it, everybody was, even though we are aware of it, shocked, because the study showed 3% Asian teachers teach in Long Island.
Wow.
3 or 5% of Hispanic teachers teach in Long Island, and 3 or 5% of Black teachers teach in Long Island. So we are all saying, as she talked about it, that other school districts and other educational institutions not giving that opportunity to the students to learn and then understand of that background of diverse culture. Where will they able to be when they are working collaboratively when they go into college? So we were just thinking about that. So Daphne, who encouraged me to start Asian Pacific American Council of Educators in 2020, I still have it. She sent me email at 11:55 at night. Saying and convincing me, you are the only one who can do this so young. Why? Because Chancellor Young is working on that diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we have to, as a sister organizations, work together and able to make this happen. So I guess I'm a little like a seed, but I want to have a big hope, and I'm a little seed for the big tree that want to connect and then have many branches and then able to give that impact someday.
I love that. I love that. And it's so very important, especially in the world that we live in right now. There's such a divide. And as I mentioned, in the intro, it's either you're on the left or the right. And we need to find that middle ground somehow. And how are you, Sophia? I'm sure what grade do you teach?
So I teach all grades from from first grade all the way to sixth grade.
Okay, perfect. So I'm sure that you're sharing like the state of the world in on their level to these children. How does your work with the multicultural and so young sort of influence how you're teaching these children?
Absolutely. So when I think about going into the classroom, my first piece is just having that understanding, that purposeful, that awareness of connecting, the best connection, the best approach in how I'm going to communicate with my students. Miss So Young Lee-Segredo is very big also in including the arts. And our children are very artistic, very creative. So I have increased my level of music in the classroom, my level of movement. So I do some dancing as well.
Are you singing in the
Yes,
classroom?
I do
Oh my
dancing
God. I love it.
So that's another thing. I really, one thing that Mrs. Segredo has really inspired me is the authentic learning, really going back to that. Because it's so easy to go on Google and I'm going to find something on very quickly and I'm just going to put it on for the students. But then we also lose that connection, not only just with our students, but with each other. And we're saying, oh, it's just easy just to go on like my laptop and say, I'm going to go and just type something. But just having that understanding that you are creative, you are authentic, you're able to bring something, you're able to create something just from two things, just from a piece of paper and just something that's in front of you, and just I've seen that happen. Miss
Palawa, do you want to talk about my sash to go
Oh yes, we put together sashes, So Young and I, and we literally created them from scratch. We made paper sashes for a wonderful concert, for a spring concert.
I love it.
And we had them all ready to go, and we were ready. We had plan A, B, C all planned out because and the kids love them. They saw them and they were instantly they loved it because that's something they can go home later and say, I'm inspired to do this. I want to do this now, and just to think that it's not just one way. There are multiple ways of looking at things, and that's what this organization has inspired me to do.
LeShawn, one day I was visiting Philippines with my best friend, and Karen and her mother lives literally, you cross the street, there's a high school. So we arrived, and she wanted me to relax. This is a vacation to relax. And I said, Karen, are you serious? You didn't tell me you have a high school across the street? What do you think is going to happen? Oh, no! So yeah. And I said, no, we are crossing the street and going to see principal right now.
I love it.
Right now? Okay. So we went to school and we found the principal. And so making long story short, I was talking to him and he said, oh, you would like to see students? Okay. So we were talking, and after 30 minutes, my 5-minute to 15-minute visit to the school became 2 hours.
I believe it.
And he says, oh, we happen to have a state director coming in evaluating our school. Do you mind if you keep certain students and do something with them? I said, Absolutely. And so in Philippines that time, I don't know how much it improved. There were not many places you can go to make a large amount of Xerox copies. So I stayed up until 3 a.m.,
Wow. On your
And-
vacation.
wrote the curriculum, and I told Karen, we have to send out your driver
Wow.
to go and make a copies of this. How many? He said 150 children.
Wow.
So he had to go several times because only they can make a 50 at a time.
Wow.
Because machine is not that advanced. So I went in there and I did emotional intelligence. Although that one of my theses that I did for Bank Street, and with the other educations I have gone through, I wrote papers, but this one was particularly multiple intelligences theory. How can we use that in our classrooms? And that is not even touching upon culture. This is just about students' learning styles. And then later on, I found Howard Gardner, started all the way over here in the one end of the Harvard University Education Department,
Okay.
founded that, and all the way at the end of the other wall,
Wow.
another professor founded the emotional intelligence. And they never heard about what's called emotional intelligence. So I bought the papers and I wrote down, and then I did that, and I said to the principal, you have to give me artist. He said, oh, we have a student who's majoring in art. I said, you do? And so guess what I did, as Ms. Panagos talked about, maybe you want to do that this year. I provided it about 75 students into smaller groups. 3 New York Times hard copy side paper only. They had to create something 3D.
I love it.
You have no
That's amazing.
idea
That's amazing.
what they came up with.
Wow.
They folded it into man, and they made it into later you can scoop the soup.
Wow.
At the beginning they struggled, and I said, no, I'm not giving you easy task. You are artist. You can in future create and be an artist. So I am not giving you hint, and you can talk about it. And about 20, 30 minutes, they struggled, and then they discussed it in each other. And somebody used a bottle of water, that they finished drinking, so they used that and then designed something along with it. It's amazing how we have students who have challenges, but at the same time, they have challenges not to turn off the phone and then create.
Right. I love that. That's so important. I'm glad that you did that on your vacation. But spreading clearly multiculturalism all around the world, even when she's supposed to be laid up in the beach with a Mai Tai. So I love that about you. And this is why you do the important work that you do, because you see that it's needed no matter where you go and what the environment is. You still see the need. So let me ask you, what challenges have you faced in promoting, multiculturalism? And how do you sort of navigate that challenge?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the wall. It's not easy to maintain and carry daily responsibilities being a leader of a nonprofit organization. So I'm talking to some of you who's watching right now. So as I mentioned, it is challenged to get the fundings, okay? And so also, I'm doing these things after my work hours. Sometimes I leaving work at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Last Thursday, I left at 7 o'clock. And so I really believe that I need to give it to my energy and then time and effort to where I work. But then I'm doing on the side, these nonprofit organizations. So sometimes we do have difficulties finding the fund and the donations. And I'm not somebody who's, like a superpower, super PAC. So I don't go to government, or I don't go to big shot, somebody who's a billionaire asking for it. Because currently, until I perhaps later on, thinking about retiring, I'm part-time who's doing these things. So we have somebody like a Sophia and then other teachers or friends who's donating. And from that, I'm thinking about creating ideas and doing things. So, of course, that I'm the main contributor of my own nonprofit organizations, but I will not, say that it's not unnoticed that a lot of people every year make a donation and pay their dues, and also. Executive directors are always conscientious of our needs,
Supporting.
And supporting.
I love it.
And we needed to do some collaboration together.
Yes, with other
very
organizations
important.
that actually have the same mission. So that is, really what my question is to you too. I mean, the title of the show is Embracing Our Shared Humanity.
Right.
So, Sophia, tell me, what role do you believe educators play? Because they're trying to erase DEI. They're trying to erase all of these programs, these taking books out of schools. Like, there's so much going on right now. So what do you think the role of an educator is in making sure that even though the kids may not have access to it in certain states, that we're still teaching and showing them, that we share commonalities?
So I think the biggest thing is just having that constant exposure, the exposure. We have the knowledge, we have the awareness, but I think it's the exposure. So I think through word of mouth, we have so many diverse learners, we have so many diverse educators. It's just a matter of putting this into action now. So by having maybe signs and maybe having, I know people do social media now, it's more than ever, more active, just knowing that there's something there. Because I know in my culture per se, in the Greek culture, the resources are very limited as far as organizations, as far as committees, as far as even just resources to educational resources to provide for our students. And there are a lot of cultures that are in that similar boat that, they're willing to learn, they're willing to collaborate. But unfortunately, if we don't have that one person or multiple voices who are willing to get together and to really combine and really work at this, because this is not a simple project. There are just so many cultures and heritages that are being, believe it or not, diminished slowly. Even those languages, those dead languages that people had in their own villages back in the day that they spoke amongst themselves, even those are being diminished because they're not being utilized. That's not that exposure. They're not teaching the younger generation. So we as a whole need to come together and be that push, and having an organization such as Mrs. Segredo's, we're able from there to be that voice in every culture and every heritage, and really imitate that and radiate that in a stronger sense, in a bigger sense.
I get it. I love that. What does embracing our shared humanity mean to you, So Young?
I think that humanity word itself has a human, and we think, oh, okay, So Young, what are you talking about? Okay, and in Asian culture, they believe that it's always that one side and the other side leaning on each other. That's the sort of like a symbol of mankind and then humanity. And that's just so simple, but it's deep. That's because if we look into ourselves, we care about our body and mind and the soul, okay? And we want to make sure our family members and relatives and close friends have a wellness of that SEL, physical wellness, and all that, that means that other person you might not be giving credit to and respect as a person of human beings has the same kind of a need and desire and the dreams.
Yes.
So humanity simply means like you look at yourself and look at other person as your twin.
Yes.
As I mentioned one time also,
I love it.
we are each individual soul.
Yes.
If we treat like that, okay, that person might be having similarities and differences, and person has some kind of experience in their lives, reason they treating you like that, okay? But we also have to look into why and what can we do to take that away.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. Time has gotten away from us. You know I could talk to you for another hour, but I'd like to thank both of you for being here. You know I have to have you back. You know you're coming back, that's right. But thank you so much, So Young, and thank you so much, Sophia, for being here and just sharing what embracing our shared humanity actually means, not only for adults, but also for the youth that probably don't even understand what that literally means right now in the world that we're living in.
So I'm going to make a believe
love
this
it.
is our
Yes.
shared box, and
Shared
your
box.
soul
Thank you.
and your soul
And we all
and
come
my
together,
soul
respecting
all
one another.
come together
it.
and collect
I love
blessing.
it. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to put up the Multicultural Council information where you can reach out and support, be a part of it. That is So Young Lee-Segredo. You can also reach out to, I'm sure Sophia there as well. Yeah, there's her information, and please check her out. Google her. You will find out more information about her than I can actually share with you right now. So I want to get real quick to the Dare to Be You.
Oh, I can't wait.
And it is. Embracing our shared humanity is about seeing ourselves in others, understanding that our differences make us unique, but our commonalities unite us. When we honor the dignity of every person, we create a world where compassion and unity thrive. So dare to be you by embracing the humanity in others. Recognize that our shared experiences and emotions connect us all. By valuing every person's story, you help build a world rooted in compassion, understanding, and unity. And that's exactly what these beautiful young ladies shared with us today. Through art, through creativity, through learning, through teaching, through sharing what you have in your world with others, you can connect with each other. You can find those commonalities. So I want you to go out there and do that today, not tomorrow, today. Today. You find a neighbor, you find a friend, you build a society that is united by actually respecting and giving the voice to others who are not like you. I'd like to thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Your Our Unity. I'd like to most importantly thank our amazing guests, Sophia as well as So Young Lee, for being here and sharing their stories and what's on their hearts. I want you guys to have a wonderful evening. Please remember that peace and love is in the palm of our hands. So let's go out there and be some love, share some love, and just give some love. We'll see you next week on Your Our Unity. And in the meantime, we hope you have a wonderful, blessed night. Say good night, ladies.
Good night.
We love you.
Buenas noches. 좋은 밤입니다.
Yes, say it in Greek, girl.
Kalimikta.
Yes. See you later.
And go out to get now.
Yes.
Agora in
Today.
Portuguese, ahora Spanish, and
Dora.
Aw, thank you.
okay. Thank you.